Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a very challenging time when I have to present after lunch. So I have to accept that people are already feel sleepy, or either they are fully in the tummy. But I believe you all had a very good lunch today. Are you agree? Do you have, who's the one in here having a pasta today for lunch? Pasta? Oh, only one person, only Antonio. How about rice? Because we are Asian, normally cannot eat without rice. Antonio has rice, Antonio has pasta, and you too. And how about the others? What did you have for lunch? Noodle. Me mama, okay. Pasta. And the others? Vegetables. So you're vegetarian? Fruit? Okay. So thank you for having me today. Based on my previous studies also, I would like to share some of the findings related to how actually villages can scaling up into more sustainable destinations. So let's have a look. Okay, before we ask this question, can you please raise your hand if you're coming from a rural village? Nobody? Everyone is coming from a big city? Yeah? Oh, yes, yes. Only 3, 4, 5? Wow. So most of you are coming from the capital city. Okay, that's interesting. This is what happened actually. Why rural destination is important? Because most of the young people, especially productive age, they're moving from the village into the city. That's why we have depopulation problem. And why rural destination is important as well? Because the poverty, because lack of infrastructure, both soft and also hard infrastructure. And can you imagine even basic infrastructure like electricity, like water, they don't have it. Let's say somewhere else in Asia, in my country, in the very, very east part of Indonesia, in Papua, they don't even have fresh water. Electricity is very limited. So can you imagine in this digital era, there's still a very remote village that doesn't have access to electricity. And also, they still don't have access to education. So what do you think about the income that they receive? Nada, zero. They only have to work either on fisheries or the agriculture. So why the rural destination important? Because of this problem, of course, but at the same time, actually, these rural areas has great resources. Why is that? Let's take a look on Batu Putih in Kinabatangan. I visited Batu Putih a few months ago, and I was so amazed with all the initiatives that they have. The resources that they have is the community itself. Without the community, tourism is not working, especially when you talk about CBT. They have high biodiversity. How come it happened? 10 years ago, deforestation. But the local community has the initiative to replant again the forest. And 10 years after, the local community, they're working together with the local government, with the NGO, and bring back all the biodiversity, including the pygmy elephant, including the proboscis monkey. Do you agree, Jai? Thank you. Thank you for the hard work. So when you're going there and then you visit this place and then you experience the river cruise, and then they provide very unique experience that you cannot find it anywhere else. Okay, you go there, you can see hornbills. You can see proboscis monkeys, crocodile, snakes. They're everywhere, all types of reptiles, all types of snakes. Can you find it in the big city? Can you find pygmy elephant in the big city, except zoo? No, right? So that's the point. The rural destination, they have this. They have this potential. And they turn this into economic opportunity through tourism. Okay? Now let's have a look. So if we would like to scaling up our rural destination or our villages, we identify that there are several things that we need to assess at the beginning, because you cannot just start straight away and then you cannot just scaling up your destinations, of course. Like Dirk said in the beginning, sustainability is the foundations of everything. And when we talk about sustainability, we know the 3 pillars of it. He already explained very well, very detailed. However, how does it work? The sustainability pillar in the village. When we talk about number 1, environment, what do you think? What does the village understand about environment? How do we assess environmental aspect in the village? Is there any idea? Any idea? Yes? Waste management. Very good. That's one of the example. Instead of they throwing away the food, they reuse it again as an organic fertilizer. Correct? Why? Because the organic fertilizer, it's very important for the garden. And then they will harvest the vegetable, they will harvest the fruit, and then they will consume it again. So there's a circular economy coming there. Do you agree? You're still sleepy, I think. Okay, that's fine. How about the social part? Social cultural part. This is also important. Why? Because what happened in the village, when the old generation, they are trying so hard to establish tourism, develop tourism, and somehow there is no regeneration, and then the development of tourism is stopped there. For example, I take an example again in Batu Putih. It's been the 2nd generation developing the tourism. If it stopped in the 2nd generation, what happened afterward? There's no more tourism. So they have to transfer the knowledge. They need to train again the young people. They need to train again the whole community. That's the social part of sustainability. You need to engage women. Hello, women, where are you? Do you think women in tourism, you got a place to stay? Do you think in tourism, you have space to make a decision or not? Yes or no? Yes? No? Yes? Yes. However, unfortunately, it's not in all places. And then so, that's why it needs to be sustainable in a social matter. So give the opportunity to women, to the minority groups, and also for the people with special needs. And when we talk about economy, of course, we're talking about how we can assess the financial situation, how it can become economically independent, and then we train financial literacy, and then it's all related to soft and hard infrastructure, the governance, who's engaging in the governance. Are you only working with the local community, or are you also engaging NGO, or are you also working with associations? So in the level of community, when you are developing tourism, it's important. Again, on the first session, I heard one keyword saying collaboration. And of course, when we talk about assessing, it means that we can identify what are actually our challenges. When we have challenges, it is impossible to tackle everything. So what should we do? What do you think we should do? Run away? That's normally what people do, right? Correct? So when we assess our positions as the village, and then we know what are our key challenges, and then we make priority. Same like in our lives. We have so many assignments to do from UN Tourism. We have assignments from ministry, from MOTAC. But we have the priority. The village has the priority. Which one that they can do first? What kind of resource that they have to tackle all these challenges? So based on hundreds of applications that based on villages that we studied before, like more than 200 villages, we identify that the challenges in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East are similar. The first one is the infrastructure, both physical and non-physical. Okay? I give an example in Jagana village in China, where before they have a problem with the access. Like the capital city is 5 to 6 hours to the village. The village is so beautiful. It has a stunning scenery with 4,000 meters, mountains, valley, and everything. It has everything there. However, to go there, you need many hours. Who wants to go that far away if you don't get the wow experience? Nobody will go. However, the local community, they work with the government, so the government provide the access, the infrastructure. The second example of the challenges that the village face is the funding and investment. Normally, the local community always try to find funding investment from outside the community. They always try to find a loan, they always try to find CSR program, but the fact is the money is inside the community. The investment is from the community. So this is what happened in Bali, where the local community, they invest in tourism infrastructure. They provide accommodations, they provide transportation, they're building the restaurant, and then they have the organic garden. They have everything. So the circular economy is working very well over there. They don't need anything from the outside the village. So the people invest there. The people have ownership there. The people then has responsibility because they depend, the economy is depending on tourism. Do you agree? Yes? Very well. And the other challenges is how to balance between tourism growth and sustainability. I'll take an example of, again, from China in Dajai, where especially in a special occasion, which is the Red Yao Festival, thousands of people are coming at the same time just to try to do the trekking in the terrace, which is, it brings potential impact to the landscape. However, the local community have an initiative. They create different types of activities, and so the visitors, when they come and arrive there, they distribute the tourists to different kind of activities inside the village. So instead of only going for trekking, so they distributed the tourists to go for workshop embroidery, for poetry, for calligraphy, for dancing. So there are activities that you can offer besides the only thing for the tourists. And the last challenges is about maintaining authenticity. I take the case from Myanmar. It's a very unique crafted roof that they have in this village. And every visitors who come there, they would like to experience living in the village and then the way of life. And they're still maintaining it until now without replacing the materials with the modern lifestyle. Now, I would like to propose 6 strategies if a village would like to scaling up to be a sustainable destination. Okay, and we start with one, which is leveraging the assets. Why it's important to leverage the assets? Because I take an example again from China. Shibadong is a very poor village. It is like one of the priority in China for poverty alleviation. What happened there? The local community working with the government funded the activities and everything, and they integrated the cultural, the music, the dance, for what? For tourism. So by looking at this, we know that tourism can turn again into economic opportunity. And even now, it becomes one of the most successful villages that can get out from this poverty problem. So even people from other villages from around the world, they come to this village and to learn how can you utilize tourism as a catalyst for this economic development. The second one is the engaging community. I take an example from Indonesia, where young people there, they are very active, engaging in the governance, but at the same time, they're developing new products. Before, in this village, they only sell raw cacao. But by working together with the university, now the young people, they have small business enterprises that differentiate the product from cacao to cacao drinks, snack, cacao spa, and many more. So this is something that mostly the young people has the new innovations, new creativity, and then how we can give this opportunity to the local, especially the young people. Because normally, the young people are going outside. So we need to attract them to get and to gain money inside the village. Building resilience, capacity. I take an example from South Korea, where actually it is the only place where you can visit for camellia. Do you know camellia? No? So camellia is a very important flower in the Republic of Korea, and they use it for ceremony. So this place is the only place in South Korea where they distribute the camellia to all the part of Korea. So what do they do over here? So they're empowering the local community, again, engaging the young people, and then they try to produce new product from camellia to camellia oil. So they can use the oil for cooking, and then they can use the oil for something else. Because they know that this is so important, and then so they also train the local and get certification. And then so you can visit the forest with the local guide, with the interpretation, and etc. And the other strategies is integrating value chain. So in Azaka, China, they are connecting farming with homestay, with restaurant, with activities. And with this, they establish a company with benefit sharing 70-30%. 70% for the community, 30% is for the government. And I've just heard today that actually everybody in Azaka, even when you were born, you are allowed to get allowance from these benefits. So can you imagine, even in some villages in China, you can get pensions from this beneficiary. So it is very inspiring. And continue with the next strategy is providing infrastructure. And I will take an example from Japan, where this is another special case where they're providing infrastructure, especially for the people with special needs. We know that it is already very difficult for the villages to provide, basic infrastructure. But the Japanese people, they are, always step ahead compared to Indonesia and Malaysia. Do you agree? Yes. Yeah. And then so we're still thinking about how can we manage our waste, but the Japanese people is already thinking, how can we provide extra services for people with special needs? So what they do, they provide shuttle, they provide the infrastructure, and then they train the local community. So they have, they educate with all this information, hospitality, and of course, this is gaining more visitors, especially for people with special needs. And the last one is an example from Thai Hai, Vietnam, where sustaining resources, meaning sustaining the people. And who is the people? The women. Why women? Why women? Why women is so important in sustaining resources? Do you have anything to say? Because we are beautiful. Okay, so there is a studies, a social studies from UN Women saying that everything that heritage from our previous generation, biologically, it's herited to the women. Sorry to say, men, yeah, so you don't inherit anything, including inheriting how to manage and how to sustain the resources. You can see this very clear, especially in the coastal area, because in the coastal area, it's mainly the women who managing the resources. Like the indigenous people in the island, before they have no idea what is marine protected areas, what is conservation areas. They don't know that terminology, but they know what they call it with traditional conservation area. And who's doing that? Women. So this is what happened in the Thai Hai, Vietnam. So the women there is leading, and then they're trying to utilize the resources, and they initiate with one idea, one family, one product, to develop the village tourism. And then so each house has to offer very unique product or services that they can take from their garden or they can take from their home. So now the next question, you have everything. You assess your village, you already have also the steps, the strategy. Do you think it's gonna work? Do you think it's gonna work or not? Yes? No? Who say yes? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Who say no? Nobody. 1. Okay. Very good. Actually, it doesn't work like that. Theoretically, all the things that I mentioned before should be working. However, there are some aspects that is not in the book. First one is the leadership. We talked about it before in the first session. We need local champion. We need someone from the local that can be heard, that have a voice, that can make a decision. And most of the time, we forgot about it. The second one, unique. You have natural, cultural resources. We all have it in our country. We all have it in our village. Is it wow factors? What is wow factors? It's something that's only find or experience in your place. So for example, it's a rare endangered species. Like in Batu Puteh, it's the only place you can see elephant, pygmy elephant. It's a wow factors. Or stunning view. Okay, so you really need to see what is the wow factors in the village. Sustainable practices, we all talking about sustainability since yesterday and today. What is sustainability practices for the village? Very simple. Very simple. Just use everything from your garden. No plastic. They don't understand what is solar panel. Not yet. Not there yet. The local community are very simple. So when we talk about the environment, they're only talking about simple things. And then innovation, creativities. Nowadays with technology, we can offer experience through augmented reality, virtual reality. Even during COVID, most of the places, they offer virtual tour. So why not now? And the last one, we heard before, collaboration and partnership. This is also very important. So the key takeaway from my side, scaling rural destinations shows how culture, community, and regeneration unite to support sustainable growth. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Molita Sarihani. Up next, please welcome Ms. Ku Salmana Sution, Vice President, Penang Heritage Trust, Malaysia.
Do I use this? Okay. Good afternoon. I would like to talk about how we can protect the places that we love while sharing it with the world. I've been involved as a local historian in historic preservation, promoting conservation for the last 30 years, and I'm also managing a historic attraction in Penang, which is associated with Dr. Sun Yat-sen, who was the first president of modern China in 1911. Next. So I'm both an advocate as well as a stakeholder. How do I change the slide? Sorry. Like this? Okay. So today I'm going to talk about Georgetown. Georgetown, together with the sister city, Melaka, we have been listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 2008. So since then, we have seen an increase in tourism. And with tourism comes a lot of challenges. I think someone called it progress or desired development. And of course, it also brings revenue generation to the local community, and as well as impacts. And these impacts could be strains on infrastructure, sewage, congestion, waste, and so forth. And during the pandemic, strangely enough, although, of course, there was a lull in tourism, we also experienced an increase in domestic tourism. And these domestic tourists who were not so much in Penang before the pandemic, because they could not travel out of the country, so there were more domestic tourists. And since then, they have been coming back like almost every weekend. One of the challenges of tourism is gentrification of the historic city. With gentrification, it means that the character of these neighborhoods have changed from having shops and homes. They have become, Airbnb, hotels, restaurants, cafes, and souvenir shops. So tourists in certain, when they come to certain areas, they mainly see other tourists. And this has led to a lot of hasty renovations and also rising rents and eviction of the local community. So in this area, our rents have doubled, and I think recently some landlords have even increased the rents 4 times. The first step to understanding how to protect a heritage site is to know what is the essence of the heritage site. So during the 10 years leading up to the UNESCO listing, there was a lot of this, studying and discussing what makes this place so special. So for Georgetown and Melaka, three of the outstanding universal value were identified, and these are historic crossroads of culture and mercantile exchange. Second would be townscape and architectural heritage. And the third would be the living heritage community and intangible heritage. To talk about the first, which is about knowledge of the past, there are sort of passionate people who are very interested in researching and deepening historical knowledge and interpreting and writing about it and publishing. So this has been going on. I think, you know, like even in social media, there's now so many stories about the past. Protecting the cultural heritage needs a plan, and this plan is the Special Area Plan, which was gazetted in 2016 for Georgetown. And in fact, it is really very important to have this plan because the state as a whole, I think, lacks a gazetted local plan. So in this plan, you can see that the heritage buildings have been identified. Category 1 for monuments, like houses of worship and public buildings. Category 2 for shop houses. And there are also infill sites which can be built with new, but usually following, you know, or kind of synchronizing or sympathetic to the existing heritage. And also replacement buildings, which were, you know, very, what do you call it, buildings which have no aesthetic value and which were built, you know, in more recent years. Those need to be replaced. So these are some of the principles for a cultural heritage city. Firstly, it should be functional, it should be walkable. Secondly, we need to have a sense of belonging, and which means that the local people need to feel an ownership of the city or an ownership of the neighborhoods. And as the change is happening very fast and we are losing the community, so this sense of ownership, I think, is a bit threatened. Also, with the rootedness of the community, you will have identity and pride. I think this is how, you know, when people come and they see this rooted community, they feel a sense of connection. You know, they realize that there is people sort of still, you know, have a sense of where they come from and a sense of, you know, connectedness to the place that they're living in. And fourthly, inclusive and dignified. So for example, even in the historic city, we have homeless people. So how are these people treated, you know? And we have charities that, you know, what do you call it, distribute food. And so I think that's very important to make sure that nobody is just displaced or left out. And the sense of place, it can refer to urban legibility, which means that you know how to get around, you know how to, you know, things are in proportion, and there is a sustainable land use, and also, you know, signages are controlled. And the sixth one is reducing social anxieties. Means you have kind of, you know how to deal with climate and emergencies and seasonality. So one of the things that we need is investment in the historic infrastructure, which is, some of it is in a state of decay. So for example, we have an agency, a government agency called Think City, which has improved certain areas, and also the Aga Khan Foundation, which moved here, I think, because it is not a conflict zone. You know, before that, they were mainly working in the Arab-speaking world. And they have invested into enhancing green spaces and recreational areas. One of the things that is contested is how to manage traffic congestion. Because of the weekend tourists, so Penang people just stay at home during the weekends. We don't want to go to the city. But actually, the local restaurants depend both on locals as well as outsiders, as well as tourists for the clientele. And here the state government is quite intent on building kind of mega infrastructure, whereas for people like us, from the civil society, we are advocating more fine-grained type of improvements to the public transport system and also the walkability. Another issue is really how to revive the intangible heritage. And Penang Heritage Trust, which is a non-profit organization, is very much involved in identifying the practitioners of traditional trades and performing arts. So putting people first means we want a kind of tourism which respects the local community, the way of life and culture, and also, tourism can contribute to sustaining our local culture. And there are kind of different types of tourists. You have high-impact tourists, mass tourists, who maybe are just borrowing the landscape rather than, being very appreciative of the local culture. So these tourists will come, they will say, we have been there, done that, they will buy the cheap souvenirs. And I think that creates more, not only does it create more impact, but it can be more fickle. Because these tourists, they will go to the next place and the next place. But the tourists who really appreciate our local culture, they will become the repeat tourists. They will come back and develop meaningful connections with the local community. And those are the higher yield and longer staying tourists with less impact on the environment. So with tourism, it also creates opportunity for cultural development and innovation. And we have the local creative people. Usually it's very, interactive, together with creative people from elsewhere, from around the world, who come and they make heritage relevant to the younger generation, at least. So their contribution is very important because heritage is not just for nostalgia, but it is really a fertile ground for innovation. And last of all, we still have the same challenges: loss of community, reckless renovations, and we need strong collaboration between private and public sector in order to put urban regeneration as the driver for sustainable tourism. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Zaza Rita Badron, Managing Director, Kopal Travel and Tours, Kampung Batu Putih, Sabah. All right, up next, please welcome Ms. Zaza Rita Badron, Managing Director, Ms. Ku Salma Nasution, Vice President, Penang Heritage Trust Malaysia, up on the stage. Please welcome.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Actually, my name is Zaza, okay? I'm from Managing Director for Kopel Ecotours in Berhad. Today, I would like to share you a topic about the Wonder Woman of Misawale Homestay. It's a dear journey towards a UN tourism-based village. We gather not just to celebrate the destinations, but to honor the peoples who transform them into experiences. And in this session, we shine a spotlight on a remarkable story of resilience, innovation, and community spirit, the Wonder Woman of Miso Wale Homestay. Okay, we are known as Miso Wale Homestay, located at Kinabatangan, Sabah. Okay, where Sabah is? Here. We are in Kinabatangan, Sabah, at the part east coast of Sabah. So very far from Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, we start with mascot initiative to empower local community to start the CBT program at that time. So we start the program with CBT program with Miso Wale Homestay on the year of 2000. With knowing as knowing as a couple on that time, knowing as a mascot before, and now we are as a couple from the association now to a corporate organization. Okay, in Lawa Kinabatangan, we have 10 species of primates. We also can find here big five of Borneo, which is a pygmy elephant, a proboscis monkey, orangutan, and 8 types of species of hornbill. It's all can found in our region. Okay, now we talk about the 30-year journey of Kopel. If you see here, in the beginning, we just start with a small visionary group to develop a CBT in small shelter and limited facilities in 1996. That's where we start our program. And then we grow step by step with lots of brainstorming on that time to put the idea as a voluntary on that time. There's no income at all on that time. So we do all volunteer to set up a solid foundation before we implement all into the planning. Okay. With passion and hard work for all the communities there, now we are slowly, one by one, develop our program and get more organized, especially administration and facilities. Okay, where did it all begin? Actually, from the illegal logging, we turned to community-based tourism. Our community on that time in early, mostly doing farmer, doing fishing, include illegal logging for a living on that time. So after years, by the years, the resources become vanished and no more trees. So that on that time we got struggle in the economy on that time. After we realized we need to do something using a surrounding resources to protect and create alternative economy and resilience. So and from the research and local knowledge, we are aware of potential of our village. We can do a CBT with the resources that we have surrounding in the area. So our unique selling proposition, not only the tourism, but we also do the conservation programs. But the conservation programs, we not only do the forest restoration, but we also do the lake restoration project, orangutan bridge, cave restoration program, water quality, wildlife monitoring, and then added biomass and solar power project, which is the solar power project at the moment. We apply to our accommodation very deep in the forest. Okay, on the forest restoration project, we go beyond environmental tokenism. We have planted over than 400,000 species of trees, which is we have 7 types of species, 7 types of jungle in our Kinabatangan region. It's also funded by the local and international donors. And then the housewife financially empowered through the community reforestation the program. So with this program also is create side income to our community with women involved especially. So before this, if we going to forest, cut the trees, got money, but now they are going to forest plants and the tree got money, it become a great economy. Okay, this is an example before we do the forest restoration in the area. This is on 2008, and then the impact now, this is one of the example when we do the reforestation. So now the newly restored forest acted like a bridge. It's linking isolated patches of the woodland along the riverbanks. What we once fragmented habitats become a continuous green corridor. That's a lifeline for biodiversity, like the birds, mammals, and insects could now move freely, forage, breed, and migrate without barriers. Okay, from our case study in Kopel, women is a backbone of Kopel. We do the community reforestation, we do the cultural performance, administration and financial management, F&B guiding services, and so on. Okay. Together, this one from living the backbone of Kopel, we're proving that when women lead, communities flourish, forests recover, and tourism becomes a force for good. When COVID comes, so income from the tourism is diminished. Income from conservation program cushion impact of the pandemic. So luckily, we're doing conservation as a green economy, make our organization survive and stay until right now, luckily. When the world shut down and tourism came to a halt, our community faced a harsh reality with no tourists, with no job, and no income at that time. Homestay also stood empty. All the activities was silenced, guiding services also vanished overnight. It was a time of uncertainty, hardship, and fear. But amid the silence, something powerful endured, our commitment to conservation. So we were not alone. Grants and supports from the NGOs and local government agencies on that time helped us sustain our programs. These partnerships allowed us to pay our staff by equipment and the other operation costs. Recovery cemented focus on green economy, even though we don't have any tourists on that time, because 2 years, because of the COVID, there's no tourists come to our area, but we still gain some revenue income. So still have income on that time. So this is data analysis before and after the pandemic, so we're not shut down after the pandemic. Okay. Would Kopel succeed without women? Do you agree with that? Can I ask you that question? Would Kopel or CBT program will be succeed without women? Yes or no? Oh, I got two questions, two answers. So I gave you, this is the case study of Kopel. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the women. Okay, but we have our own perspective why. Because of the CBT case. Okay, firstly, we are Wonder Woman. We are unstoppable. So we are the woman, right? Thank you. We are wife, mother. We are also manage the household. We also do the volunteer. We also manage any department, and we also a teacher. So women carry multiple roles within our families and communities itself. If you are a woman, there's no need for me to mention all of this. I think you already know, but I think men are aware of these too. Especially if you also have a wife who also works. Please support them. Okay, what were our challenges? Okay, setbacks. We have few challenges as a woman to lead the community-based tourism. This is a few of these. We had setbacks from parents and community. We have to take care of our child at work. We need to bring them to our work location because some of the family, there's no parents at their home, so we need to bring our children at work site. Okay, and then years of volunteer work. On that time, we don't have any economy. So everything that we do on that time in the village is free. Even though I start with only 5 ringgit allowance a month on that time when I first starting with this organization. And then the other challenges is shifting the roles. So we start from the down, from the group, and now we're shifting a few roles to achieve today that what I wear today. Okay? And then the communication problem, of course, we are the women, and then of course the youth on that time, the communication problem is not easy if you talk with someone with senior than you. It's a bit, you need to know how the way to speak with them, especially when they are senior than you and they are your relatives. Because in the CBT program, because this CBT program in the village area, mostly all of us is related each other as a family, husband and wife, kids, cousin, and so on. So there's a few ways how to talk with them. Okay, and then the lack of confidence. Of course, not all the villages or the community on the youth on that time, they want to speak like this. And then speak with the other outsider, other than their villages. So the lack of the confidence, also the challenges for us on that time. And then, of course, the important one was the experience and education, which is if we know the local people, our education is very basic. Even though not all people, they finish their school on that time. It's not like like today, it's easy go to university if you have good economy, but not at the village. It's different. And then the other one is stereotype of women. Women just need to stay at home. We need to change the stereotype of that. So woman is not only can stay at home, but women can do more than that. That's what our challenges. Okay, this is my career path, preparedness to step up, starting from volunteer on that time and general labors. On that time, we don't know what our vision in the future, so we just go through what the program that we have in our village on that time. So we start as a simple village woman, no big dreams on that time. We don't know what happened in the future. So when we first joined Kopel, we joined with the only small responsibilities, only like preparing food for visitors, culture, and so on. And then the next, we try to take another step of challenges. So we do like more to corporate, like office assistant. So because with the trust of my team, I grew from those early tasks into communication roles. Guiding and administrative, and then working together in this cooperative spirit. And now my journey from a village woman to managing a director reflects when it's possible, when opportunity meets determination. So today I still continue to lead with the values that shape me, community conservation and empowerment. So at the beginning, my youth, including women, work as a volunteer also. So now we try to out from our comfort zone. That's why we take the challenges to be lead to the cooperative. Okay, this is a reflection on our journey. I strongly believe that every value was cultivated from the very beginning has contributed to us being awarded the Best UN Tourism Village in 2021, the first one in Malaysia. The most prestigious award, thank you, and recognition we have received and trust testament to our journey. These awards belong to each, not only for me, not only for the community, but all to each and every villager that we have in Kinabatangan region. This award is also motivating us to chase a new height of success. Ponsico, thank you.
All right, thank you, Zazarita Badron, the Managing Director, Kopal Travel and Tours, Kampung Batu Putih, Sabah. All right, so we're going to proceed with our panel discussion 2, from policy to practice scaling, sustainable tourism. I would like to invite once again Dr. Dirk Glazer up on the stage. But before that, while we wait for the tables and the chairs to be set up, again, I would like to remind you on the latest information for international delegation who would be interested to join the technical tour tomorrow. Please be informed that the technical tour would only involve the Dutch and Heritage Trail Tour, and international delegates who would like to join must gather at the ground floor lobby of respective official hotels for transportation arrangement by 9:30 a.m. And one more, please confirm your attendance at the ground floor registration counter before the end of today's program. Thank you. All right, so over to you, Dr. Dirk.
Thank you very much. May I ask the panelists to join me directly here on stage? That way it's getting warmer over here. Thank you very much. And it was an impressive lineup of female perspectives of sustainability. You all stressed very much the very personal perspective and your role in developing sustainable tourism. And while you did that with a focus on your projects, my first question would be related to the larger lesson you learned from that. While you emphasized very much your personal experience, now what would you think was, in your project, the most important factor, the single factor which enabled that promotion, this advance towards sustainability in your specific project view? Was it right now that an external party came to you, that you received assistance? Was it that you felt over here that there was recognition? Was it finance? Was it a belief? What drove this motivation? What drove this success? So that we can say this is a factor which helps others to scale up sustainability. What is what you would recommend, trying to extract that in the most generic form possible? Shall we start with you, Sasa?
Thank you very much. I think from my perspective, personal opinion, I think to gain this stage, you just believe yourself. And on that time, I also don't know I will be success like this. On that time, I just want to give the best for my community. So I just trying whatever have come to my life. So I just accept it, and then I take the challenges. Everyone or any senior or any opportunity that I have on that time, I just do and try my best, without thinking is right or not. But I just think about my community on that time. So it's not for me. But till now, I still not believe why I'm still here. I'm standing here, even though I take a lot of challenges I want to quit sometimes, and then, but yeah, till now I still here.
You are still wondering why you are here, right?
Yes.
Okay, then let me ask the question differently. Was it your mom or your father? Who was it in your family who made you believe that you could do, that you could resist, that you should progress? That there must have been an influence which prepared you for taking the first steps in that direction and then later on to resist any headwinds you had. Was it your mom?
No.
Your father?
My father also not agreed when I joined this project at first because it's no income.
None of the two enjoyed it?
No.
So where does it come from? Your brother?
No, it's just come from myself. And then when I see, because in the village, when you see the visitors, outsiders, it's something new for you. So I want to try it, and I want to try to speak in English, because on that time our mother language is only Bahasa Malaysia, not English. So we want to try and want to learn. So that's bring me here.
So still to be discovered. I leave that for the next round. You didn't give an answer. You just described the result. So, Salma, maybe we discover with you some of these factors, and then we give Zaza the possibility to add or to correct, right? Salma, the factors which helps us.
Okay, I think for Georgetown, it's really the UNESCO listing for Melaka as well, which actually kind of drive a lot of tourists to these sites. But, you know, there are also external factors such as let's say if the ringgit is stronger, the tourism won't be as much. And, you know, so these are the contradictions. So it also depends on the currency, because we are getting visitors from, you know, strong economies, right? And so sometimes when the tourism increases, it's an illusion that we're so successful, but it's because maybe the ringgit is not so strong. And these are the external factors. And the other thing is that I think sustainable is a very tricky word, because when you talk about sustainable growth, does it mean that you keep growing or that you can remain stable? You know, so sustainability, if you talk about climate, then tourism is a contradiction because it has so much climate impacts. So the factors is that UNESCO listing, you know, made the government more committed to have a plan. But even then, we are not satisfied with the plan. We think that there is so much more that could be improved. And that's why if we have leadership, we have more collaboration, then the whole thing can be fine-tuned. Because we are very worried about what will actually happen to the, you know, to the heritage buildings and also to the community, which is getting evicted because of the high rentals. And we are worried that of the leakages, because is the income coming into the community, is the revenue circulating locally, or is it actually just people investing but actually taking out the money and not going to repairing and maintaining the buildings and also to supporting the local community?
Sam, I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused because my intent was to discover a factor which helped up scale sustainability. Then you said that it was the designation as a site. At the same time, you said it brought too much tourism. Then you said it was actually the need then of a plan, and then there was a plan, and then you lost me. So let me ask the question again right now. Was it a blessing to get the designation?
Let's say it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I would consider it a blessing, but we can really only tell in the long run because it's been only, let's say, 15 years. So when you say sustainable, you must think about 100 years, not just 15 years, you know. Yeah, so is it really sustainable? We don't know. Especially for ecotourism, usually, you know, the impacts are so big that you don't know whether, you know, that forest is going to be there in 100 years.
Was it your slide before when you said desired development?
I think it was your word, so
Yes,
you
yes,
said
well, I
progress
liked it
is
because of
desired
that.
development, so I picked it up from you.
No, it's good because in the end, sustainability is a process. It's not a take. So that was why I came back to you right now and asked about the designation. The designation usually is a blessing because it draws a lot of attention, and I will ask you then later on about that as well. But at the same time, you shall not enter this phase unprepared. It's like a sailor. When the wind is blowing, you have to know how to sail. I mean, it's the logics being a sailor, but many destinations are actually experiencing that unprepared, and then are wondering why the wind is blowing. But if they embark on tourism, they have to anticipate that there will be demand, and it is very important to know as from the beginning what is your desire. If you define the desire only when you are in the process, then it is very difficult, and you usually go more into the, it's not this, but you don't know what.
But I would say that there are always winners and losers, and some people have lost, and some people win. So it is really a mixed bag. So when we look at tourism, you know, it is not that everybody wins. Maybe you can say it's a net win, but you can also say that some people have lost. Let's say the people who, because the rents went up and then they couldn't stay there. So, you know, so it is, it should be more inclusive, yes, to be sustainable. So it depends on who defines that is sustainable.
I leave this right now to Maulita, who wins and who's losing when we are seeing that. So, same question for you. Factors which, this main factor which helps us scaling sustainability from your perspective. Is there one you have discovered?
Yes. It's problems.
It's?
Problems. So people actually doesn't realize when they have problems and then they try to find a solution. Okay? They have problems with the deforestation. They have problems with their fresh water. They have problems with their jobs. Me, myself, I have my personal problem to stand for myself that I can work as a woman at the sea. However, in our culture, women is very limited. So when we have problems, we try to find a solution that makes us change to become more, let's say, sustainable. It's not only personal perspective, but I believe when I identify these hundreds of villages, they're all coming with this initiative, with this idea, because they would like to tackle their own problems. So they have the same problem, whether it's their economy or how to manage their resources, or their problem is their governance, or they don't have any money even to start the tourism, or they have no people to manage the resources. So it's all has the same thing, problems.
Problem is a good concept, and I think that it is applying to most of the presentations we heard here, and it might give to Sasa a solution to the question I was asking in the first place, because I think it has something to do with the fact of being confident. When you are seeing a problem, you need to progress on that problem. That means you need to be confident. What I heard from the presentations, then women are confident for various reasons. Right now you explained that to us, that because you are a woman, but maybe there are other factors. Because you are a woman, you are exposed to this and that makes you then confident. Is that something you could subscribe to, being confident?
Yes, I agree with that. But before being confident, it's important also that we are aware ourselves. That's most of the time we're not aware. Like, we normalize everything. So for example, in our community, especially in our culture, it's normal that women doing many stuff. It's normal. However, it's not normal. And this is the education for women that actually needs to open their mind that they can do more than being a housewife. They can do more than working or educating the kids. It's the awareness.
Thank you very much for that, because what I'm trying to get out of this panel is naturally something more than just our discussion. And as we are speaking here at World Tourism Day at this conference about elements which are helping us to accelerate sustainable development, we need to become then generic so that we can take these learnings to other places. And why I'm right now jumping back to this, your suggestion, seeing the problem, then my suggestion of you have to be confident to see a problem, to discuss the problem, because in the end, that is what one requires when it comes to participatory approaches. Participatory approaches means that all different stakeholders, whether women, whether persons who have specific interests, cultural interests, who have handicaps, who have development desires, that all of them have a possibility to express in this process then how they see the future, how they see progress from their individual perspective. And Sasa, can I come back to you with this suggestion of if there's something of participation you have learned in there, is there something you would suggest right now, somebody external to another village, to another city, what he or she should take into account when he's trying to fulfill his dreams through tourism? A lesson you personally have learned, where you said it was not your father, it was not your mother, it was you. What would be a message you would transmit to somebody else saying, engage through that, look at that?
I think for me, just take the challenges. Take the challenges, whatever comes to you, and bring it, give all the best, what you can give. So I think that's from my perspective. Because on that time, I didn't think what will be happen. I just do what I think is good and better on that time. I didn't think about what's the next will be happen. That's from my perspective.
You were born very confident.
No, not really.
And you mentioned before that you realized that you had to learn English. How did you progress on that?
We talk with our guests as a volunteer, because on that time we have a Rally International program, volunteer. They do volunteer for 6 weeks there. So we work together with them every day. So that's the platform that I learned English, that very basic English.
You're very humble, you know that? And there's no lesson you want to share with somebody else besides being confident?
For the youth and women is out there, don't hear anyone talk about the others. Just believe what you want to do. And then from my side, I think to learn something, we have to facing a problem first. So that's when you're facing the problem and you know how to make a solution after that. And that's a become experience after you've been through all the, even the negative or positive. experience on that time.
That is, in addition to being confident, very constructive, right?
Yeah.
You see the problems one after the other, and you find the solution to the problem, you advance on that.
Yeah, I learn from the experience mostly. Mostly I learn from the experience. And then I learn, and I will see how's people doing. Then I will learn from that, and then I will try to make a better than the other one. So that's the platform I try to make myself very confident and learn from the others.
Also a very positive attitude, I realize right now. Salma, right now, taking that to a higher level, to a more abstract level, we face problems, we get motivated to the problems, we address them in reasonable steps so that we make progress. We see that challenge actually as a possibility to evolve positively. How would you see that in your context, to tell somebody else what you have learned personally through your experiences of becoming sustainable? What would be your advice to another person to scale up faster?
That's, as I've expressed, I'm not sure that we are very sustainable, so that's why it's difficult to share. I mean, what I presented in the PowerPoint is that there has to be transparency, there has to be a plan which is built up through consensus. And this involves, the decision makers and public participation in creating the plan. And also, it is sometimes very easy to scale up very quickly, but you don't know whether that is sustainable. So I would actually prefer incremental change,
yes,
which is I think that is much more sustainable, that the change can be incremental, but in a positive direction, and that people can see how, certain things may be a quick gain, it's a quick win, but it actually undermines the whole basis of the uniqueness of that place. So that we don't want. So we need to have this kind of constant feedback, and also a way to mitigate some of the exploitation that goes on. So for example, as I was saying, that the rentals are now going up very high. I don't think that is sustainable at all. Okay, and so I said, as I mentioned, there are many contradictions which comes with tourism. Tourism brings benefits, yes, but it also brings undesired, not only desired development, but undesired pressures. And this, we have to be honest about that. We cannot just keep saying that everything is good, So we don't know yet whether it is sustainable. We have to look in the longer term, which direction it is going.
What is interesting that your stories, to me, they are very similar. It's just the scale which is different.
Exactly.
And the interpretation you are giving to it is you are seeing here a certain negative or negativeness without putting it too negative, but you are questioning the objective, and which highlights the need to reassure in a positive manner. It's a journey, which I would encourage you to see, but at the same time, the importance to have confidence that there's a north. This discussion of ways, the north, is a very global one, and I was shocking you before, hopefully, with the total figures, and at the same time saying, it will not be the limitation which is the solution, because the demand is driven by an increasing participation of the global population as middle class in this desire to discover. So a limitation is not necessarily a solution for a specific place. It is actually our willingness to engage right now in this evolving situation with the local population to define here what is desired. And that's why I'm asking, to learn from other places, because there are other places which are right now at the forefront of these developments, and enhance regional, international cooperation. That's why we are sitting here, to reassure each other, yes, there's a common problem, but there are some solutions in there, where actually now I turn to you and to see from your experience. You have seen there many different sites around the world right now receiving recognition and participating in a increased awareness from tourists, international tourists and domestic tourism. Was that always seen as a healing? We had before the discussion that a designation not necessarily can only bring the positive, but did they see at a larger scale that as a healing or a blessing, or was it a negativeness which actually came too fast to these rural environments where it was not meeting them in a prepared manner? Please.
Yes, thank you, Derek. So after these villages scaling up, and then we also conducted some studies to evaluate their responses, to evaluate what are the impacts, positive impacts and negative impacts. And as you said, it's not only positive, but also negative, which is most of the negative impacts is because now they become popular, because now with the digitalizations, it's the promotion is everywhere, because now all this international platform has promoted this village, and then somehow the tourists are overnumbered. They're not ready with the infrastructure. They don't have enough resources like to offer the food, the vegetable, the basic like fresh water. Because before it was just enough for the community and for, you know, with the carrying capacity, and that's the number. But with this, let's call say a recognition, there are some villages that shocked with this, and then they don't know how to manage it to become more sustainably. But the case of that, it's only like 1% out of, it's a very small portion. But most of them, they're positive. They even like building network in between the country and between the region. Like Dirk said, they're learning from each other. So even though they already receive recognition, however, there's still some areas that they need to improve. And then so they share this initiative, this idea, and the other villages will adopt it. And it is actually very, very good lesson learned and a very easy ways to teach the other villages. So from village to the other village.
Thank you very much, Maulita, for that. And I think right now, a final question for the panelists, and I would like to link it again to sustainability, so that we hear from your experience now, from the different discussions we had yesterday and today, whether there are elements you would need, so that we are supporting you in your personal interest, in your professional interest, to enhance sustainability in the actions you are conducting. Is there something you would need so that we enable you more? Don't think only about your own tourism. Think in abstract terms and think as generic as possible, so that we understand when you right now were raising your concerns, how these concerns could be enabled, or how we can enable you to overcome these limitations. So as a final question, and hopefully ending here on a positive note, I start with Sasa again, and let's see, is there something we can do so that in the future you are becoming enabled to become even more sustainable, scaling your sustainability efforts?
For me, give the community more opportunity to explore more about the tourism. It's not only tourism might be that list, but it's more like conference, something like this. So they're more open to think wider, other than what other have in community itself.
Thank you.
I think there needs to be more dialogue between the different, between public sector and private sector and local community. And it is, sustainable tourism is not just ticking the boxes, because sometimes it's very easy to tick the box, but who is auditing to see that actually those criteria are fulfilled? Maybe let the local community audit, you know, to see whether the criteria are really fulfilled, or whether, you know, it is some official or someone just ticking the boxes. And so it's, what do you call it, like, it's not a numbers game, you know. To me, I feel that we cannot just measure in terms of like increase, right? But it must be the quality of life for the local people must be there, the quality of experience for the tourists, for sure, so that we make sure that the destination is not degraded.
Olita.
Thank you, Derek. So from myself, I believe if we can create a platform that can facilitate everyone there so they can exchange lesson learned, policy, recommendations in sustainability, and also they have access to training, education, everything. And then again, you open to dialogue from China to Malaysia or whoever, it will be great. And if you and tourism can facilitate it, it's even better. Thank you.
So thank you very much. It's cold in the room. It was warmer up here because we were interacting. Thank you very much. And I hope this discussion helped us a little bit to understand then even further how your initiatives are able to contribute to scale up the transformation of tourism. I thank you, although belated. Happy World Tourism Day, and let's move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dirk, as the moderator. And to our panelists, you may return to your seat. Okay, so I would like to invite Professor Amran again up on the stage for the Mentimeter. Please welcome.
Thank you to all panelists. I think it was very well done. Two more questions on the Mentimeter. Very simple question: to what extent have we achieved sustainable tourism? Please. This is a scale of 1 to 10. Now it's going down, up again. Not moving fast enough towards 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are halfway there. That's what you're saying, right? Halfway there. Just a bit halfway there. Next question, please. What should we prioritize to achieve sustainable tourism? And these are the answers: sustainability certification, clear policies, inclusive governance, capacity building, systemic monitoring, sustainable financing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It looks like there's a call for clear policies on this, right? Followed by capacity building. Thank you, and I pass it to the MC.
Okay, thank you, Professor Amrand, for the Mentimeter. All right, without further ado, we're going to proceed with our third session entitled Tourism in the Age of Artificial Intelligence and Innovation. Please welcome Dr. Ian Yeoman, the Professor of Innovation, New Phenomena and Disruption, NHL Standard University of Netherlands.
Good afternoon. Hello. I'm the last, don't worry. I'm keeping you between here and the coffee, the beer, or whatever. So I'm the last stand professor, as they say. I'm going to talk about an important issue because artificial intelligence is right at the cusp of many people's conversations. And it's of a concept that's changing a lot of things. There's probably nobody here that hasn't engaged with some sort of chatbot, Copilot, ChatGTP. You all know about it. You all use it. And it's become mainstream in everyday life, not just tourism. So we can't escape from it. So the key question is about what is the future? Well, if you've come here to know what the future is, you're going to be disappointed. Because if anybody can look into a crystal ball and tell you exactly what you're going to do in the next 10 to 15 years, it's completely wrong. So the future is all about one thing. The future is all about uncertainty. What is the degree of uncertainty of where it takes? So that's what I'm going to talk about. What is the future or futures? Uncertainties and the concept of technological singularity. So last year, I went to the Hena Hotel in Tokyo, because I'm doing a book at the moment called The Future of Tourism Through the Lens. And one of the concepts I wanted to talk about is, will the robots and technology take over the world? And once upon a time, the Hena hotels were promoted as the technology hotels. Well, I arrived there and it was a disappointment. The robots didn't work, they'd all been switched off. I arrived at the hotel to check in, and as you see, this is reception. In front of me were 12 Portuguese tourists. But the problem was, this was an automated system. The robots did not speak Portuguese, so they hadn't a clue. They weren't programmed that way. So basically, the humans had to come out from behind reception to check in these 12 Portuguese tourists. It was just one of those things. It was just one of those things. And throughout the rest of the hotel, the robots were just not there. So I was disappointed, but probably expected. So, but what I'm going to talk about in the terms of uncertainty is this. Where is the tipping point in the terms of technology? Because the world goes through a series of tipping points where technology comes together and it sort of just works. At the moment, the robots don't work. But what is the point in the future where those robots, automation, and artificial technology will come together in the terms of conversion that will change everything? Because the major point of conversion you probably understand at the moment was the smartphone and what that smartphone has done for you. Once upon a time, we had a series of individual technologies like a calculator, a watch, an alarm clock, a dictionary, a telephone, a tom-tom, and a whole range of different things. But today, they've all converged into that smartphone. So let's take a quick poll in the audience. Who here in the audience does not wear a watch? Hands up. One. You're not wearing a watch because you use your mobile phone. That's an example of that tipping point where the technologies come together and are disruptive in doing things. So the smartphone has changed the way of life, and the smartphone changed the model of tourism in the terms of what it does. The smartphone drove and made Airbnb accessible. It's just created how we do business and what we do. So the question is, where does AI take us, or technology take us in the future? Right at the heart of this is trying to guess when and where. So if somebody said to me, will it happen in the year 2040, 2050, 2060? I don't know. But we do know what those uncertainties are. We have a clear idea of what they are, but we don't know what the pace of change will be. So it's an estimation of when it converges and when it happens. It's not rational in the terms of you've got to think differently about it. Because to do it, you've got to believe in science fiction. You've got to believe in skepticism. So right at the heart of future studies, for example, there's the work of Professor James Dayton at the University of Hawaii, who basically says, any good idea, you've got to think it's unbelievable. Any good idea has to have a degree of, it's not going to happen. You've got to remember, if you're a Star Trek fan, everything on Star Trek has come true. You know, the flip, the telecommunicator, Dr. McCoy's little scanner, they've all come true to a certain extent. So technology happens, but when it becomes valuable and changes our society is the key that's unknown. So before I start with that, one of the questions I was asked to drive, what are the key uncertainties that are shaping the future of tourism? And there are many. The starting point is about global power. Who has power? On one hand, we're all trying to make Donald Duck great again, if you know what I mean. We're all in this world where countries and nations are trying to decide their market share of tourism, or promoting it, and the promotion of nationalism. But the future is not with these countries. The future, and what will drive change, is where the economic power will be and where the technological power will be. If you hold that business and you hold that technology intelligence, you will shape the future of the world. You will shape the future of tourism and where it's driven. Not the country, it's the business of tourism. The other uncertainty is about this, where we're going with the world global economy. Because at the moment we're in global recession, where the consumer is being squeezed. So what that leads to is a disparity. The poor get poorer and the middle class is squeezed, but the rich get richer in the terms of that. And everybody talks about high value tourism and luxury tourism, and we should chase that type of tourist. But on the other side, we need to talk about tourism and what it does, tourism from the good. And that's all about tourism as a social capital venture. Everything we've talked about today in the terms of regenerative tourism and the community and this bottom-up approach to tourism and how we get real value from tourism. Another key driver of change is basically the crisis of decline. This is the slow burn of demography. And we can't do a lot about it. We're basically having less children and we're living longer. So there's this slow burn of how it will shape the future of tourism. It shapes the future of tourism from one side about what is the future of labor supply, but on the other hand, it's all about an aging population and the opportunity. So the key question from a technology perspective, how far can we take technology as a substitute for labor, for example, in automation, artificial intelligence, and to drive productivity and to reshape the system of tourism from a technology perspective. The other key uncertainty of climate change is about scarcity of resources. On one hand, you're going to have to make a decision. Everybody can't do tourism. And there's going to be certain regions of the world and certain places of the world where tourism is unsustainable. Climate change will reshape the products and the experiences of what we do. And you need to make a decision to just close and walk away from tourism in certain parts of the world. And then what's left of tourism, it's hard decisions around conservation and hard decisions around sustainability in the terms of going forward. You've got to let go before you can move forward. Really important message. And the other thing, we're in this paradigm of transport and mobility. The future of transport is only in one genre, and that's the genre of sustainability. We're all driving towards a more climate-friendly model in the terms of whether it's aviation fuels or e-cars or e-bikes. We're moving that forward very quickly. And on the other hand, it's balanced with smart mobility. How do we use technology to make the movement of people better? And we're doing that lots of different ways. But right at the end, it's about the decisions you make about the future of tourism. On one hand, are you indifferent and you don't really care? And there's lots of decision makers and tourists that really don't really care about the environment and the decisions you make. It's all about profit. But on the other hand, it's all about empathy, sustainability, and a model of sustainability going forward, and what we've talked about today. We need to say the only model of the future from a tourism perspective is a model of regeneration and a model of sustainability, and work hard at it. So, what's the uncertainty around technology? We're in two spheres at the moment. What we call narrow reasoning is where we are today. What we call narrow reasoning are individual applications of technology. Think about that about the mobile phone. Think about that as the calendar, the money, the scanner, the camera, all of that type. These are the individual things. The concept we need to talk about in the terms of convergence is the concept of superintelligence, or what we call the concept of technological singularity, when the power of the computer is more powerful than you. So, I'm going to talk about 66 years. Does anybody know what this photograph is? It's the Wright brothers. So in 1903, they invented the aeroplane. So what happened 66 years later? We put man on the moon, Neil Armstrong. So 66 years is a lifetime. 66 years is the degree of change. 66 years represents the independence of Malaysia and when it came about. It's 62 years of independence from today. So it's a lifetime. So let's talk about 66 years in the terms of technology. So in 1956, a group of scientists from Bell, from MIT, and from Stanford got together. And they presented the first ideas or the first concepts of artificial technology. That's where the word started. What I'm trying to say is technology has always been there, but it's a matter of consciousness. 1966 was the world's first chatbot. A very basic, crude model of this conversation with a computer. 1972 was the birth of Shaky from MIT, the world's first autonomous robot. So think about it, 1972. Many of you here in the audience weren't even born then. 1986 was the world's first autonomous car from Mercedes. And it's a matter of consciousness. So it's what Dirk Lacy said earlier. We've known about COVID-19, we've known about SARS, we've known about all of these infectious diseases, but it's a matter of consciousness when they converge and when they become important. So, from 1956 to 66 years later, what was the big thing that brought artificial intelligence to life? ChatGPT. ChatGPT shaped and changed it. It made things accessible. It's when we started to talk about AI, it's when AI became a mainstream conversation. And people said, have you tried this out? What can you do? It's where, you know, I'm a professor in education. This is where students write all of their essays, if you know what I mean. So, what is narrow reasoning? Narrow reasoning. We've seen a lot of technology today. We've seen a lot of technology being applied. From one side, automated AI models reshaping how revenue and pricing managers in airlines and hotels take decisions. We're talking about facial recognition systems for hotel check-in and for security. We're talking about AI chatbots taking over hotel concierge. We're talking about AI city guides. We are talking about the Internet things and sensors to manage visitor flows in destinations and in theme parks. So we have these technologies which are individualistic and they're working on an individual basis. But the key question is, what happens when they all come together? So I believe in the future. It's my fantasy. So but I think in the last 5 or 6 years, I've written a lot about it, whether it's the future of food, science fiction, and my new book, which comes out in March next year, is The Future of Hotels. So I'm going to delve into that. How will the hotel industry change because of AI? The point of conversion is the work of Ray Kurzweil. And Ray Kurzweil has been talking a lot about this concept for the last 40 years. And basically, I can sum it up in one thing. If you've all seen the film I, Robot, you'll understand what I mean. So if you think about it, it's taken 66 years for ChatGPT to come about. And we're at this cusp where we're talking a lot about things. There's a lot happening in the laboratory. There's a lot happening in business, which will change how we do things, whether it's a service delivery system or what we do, and it completely reshapes the operations of a hotel or the operations of a business. So, imagine this. In 2027, this is the Nordis Hotel in Leeuwarden, which is the hotel of the Hotel Management School where I work. Imagine an approach where the Nordis Hotel becomes the first hotel in the country to adopt a zero-waste approach. It's all driven by an AI model. As when the food goes into the bin, it can recognize the food types, and it can advise the chefs of food waste, what to change, and what to order. So that's 1927. But to a certain degree, it's happening today. So if you think of orbits, it does that. The technology's there, the sensors are there. That does all of this. So artificial intelligence changes how we recycle. It identifies the waste. It does something. It's there. It just tells you what to do in the terms of decision making. It's not something that's going to happen in 10 years. It's something that's happening now. Another example is, imagine the future. Imagine a world where in 2034, the first robot wins a Michelin star. Fantasy? Yes or no? Imagine a world where we can use advanced sensory technology where a robot has a sense of taste, has a sense of smell. It can make all of the decisions about, does this sauce need extra salt? Does it need that extra ingredient? Is it? So that's the type of thing of a chef, what a chef does. Imagine a world where AI can create the menu, can do all of the food orders. Imagine a world where we have a robot that can make the dish for you. It's the perfect. So it's that point in the future where the technology comes together. So is this fantasy? So if you think of companies like Morley Kitchens or the robotic chefs, they're actually doing this today. Morley Kitchens has a showroom in the centre of London, and you can buy this package. So think about what it does. It's that point of convergence where the technology just comes together. Think of the future of a city. Take the city of Amsterdam. Think of the world where you don't have to drive a car. Think of the world where if you don't need to drive a car, you don't need to take a driving test. All I'm trying to say, think of the world where the technology is so good, why should I drive? Because we have the sensors, the radar, the cameras. The technology's there to do it already. And it's already happening. Think about Waymo in the city of Phoenix. This is the Google car ride. It's here. The decision we have to make as municipal leaders, do we want to allow this? The technology's already there to do it. Imagine in the year 2042, where we don't have human food servers, we don't have human room attendants, we don't have human receptionists. Imagine a world where robotics is so advanced, they've taken over the labour supply in the terms of that. Fantasy? Yes or no? So, Figure AI is one of the most advanced AI companies in the world in the terms of technology. But they're already a company that are being backed by the big leaders of the world. Their robots, they will probably sell to you for about 5,000 euros. They are already being deployed in car factories to replace workers. They can do simple food service tasks like cook a meal or be a barista. And they've got an ambitious goal to introduce into society 1 million humanoid robots into mainstream houses. And they believe in the concept of iRobot. Play the film, please.
Hey, Figure, can you fold these towels for me?
Sure thing. I'll get right on that.
It's a very simple task, but one of the challenges people say to me, robots will never be here because they won't be able to service a room. So my challenge to you is, will they? Robotics is that point within the next couple of years, they'll be able to do that task. And because of the economics of labor, they become mainstream in the terms of doing that. So then the key question is, which I have with my dean at the university, at what point in the future do we not need hotel management graduates from a university? Because at what point in the future will we have the world's first iRobot hotel manager who can do everything? I call my future hotel manager Carson. So it's just food for thought. Because one of the key questions we have to ask is hospitality. Do we really want a world of this technology? Because there's also issues around ethics. The key question and the key concept in the ethics literature is the concept of the gorilla. The concept of the gorilla is you as a human evolved from the gorilla, if you know what I mean. But over centuries, the gorilla was left behind. They never changed. You became the superior being. You became the dominant intelligence on this earth. So if we go down the road of superintelligence, do you create something that becomes the superintelligent being of this planet? And that's a very big ethical question. Where do you draw the line with future technology and artificial intelligence? Because hospitality is about one thing. The tourism industry is about one thing. It's about people. It's about family. It's about connection. And it's about humanity. So the key question is, does this technology come together to the point of convergence in the future? Because the lecture I was trying to do today was, what will the world of hospitality and tourism from a technology aspect look like in the year 2050? What are the key uncertainties and where will technology take us? I don't have an answer, but there's lots coming. And there's lots of applications of artificial intelligence, robotics, and automation happening now. So this leads us to lots of questions, lots of uncertainties. Can AI ever replicate the human touch with empathy and service? What are the implications of the last human hotel manager? How do we balance efficiency with ethical labor practices? Can technology be used to democratize travel experiences? How will human behavior evolve in response to AI and tourism, etc., etc., etc.? These are the unknowns. These are the issues we need to address moving forward. Anyway, if you want to know more, Creating What's Next is our university website, and I think a copy of this presentation will go to everybody, and they're the references I've talked to today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ian Yeoman. Up next, I would like to invite Mr. Antonio Lopez de Avila, the Director of UN Tourism, up on the stage.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon to you all. I'm trying to make it short because we are really, really late today. So I would like to talk about what we are doing at the UN Tourism, but first I would like to share with you some figures. Means that tourism is doing really well. As you see, we have reached data figures of 2019, and we are making more money, much more money, and all the regions are doing quite well, and Asia Pacific is recovering already. So this is money, so you see tourism is recovering, but the pockets are recovering even better. But we are facing this. We're still facing this, and we have been talking about this the whole day because it's a problem. We are facing this situation as we were facing this situation in 2019. And this situation too, so we are facing this. People against tourism. And it's not against tourism. People are against this model of mass tourism, this tourism that is destroying the cities, the environment, the societies, and everything. So we have decided to start talking about this. The main challenges of tourism nowadays is governance, is digitization and technology, of course, formation, education. Is the only way we can keep on working on a sustainable model, reduce the impact on the environment, even regenerate, increase the positive impact in the economy, and reduce the negative impact in people. So our vision is this, smart tourism destinations. I started talking about this back in 2011, and in 2012, I was lucky and I was posted as president of Segitur, which is one of the units of the Ministry of Tourism of Spain. I started to talk about smart tourism destinations, and they thought I was crazy, mad, absolutely mad. They thought this is never going to happen. But we started working with that. We started to develop the methodology. We started to create the first pilot projects, and we showed the world that it was possible. Now, this methodology is part of the agenda of UN tourism. So we know that technologies are impacting a lot in our daily life, but in tourism is very profoundly, because we are people traveling, we are digital travelers, and we are using AI to be more efficient, to be more effective, and to reach, this technology can reach everybody. Even the smallest company in a very remote area, they can use free AI tools to do better. So this is how we see tourism nowadays. It's data. We are visualizing data, and this is how we see tourism. This is the way tourism is impacting in the territory, and we can see all this data, and we are having a better idea, better than ever, how people are traveling. This is France, how people travel in France. So you see there are some places that where people don't go, and this is how people travel in China, for instance. And with that, you are more aware than ever how tourism is impacting our planet. This is how we see tourism in Madrid. The hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants. So when you see this, you are more aware than ever how tourism is impacting. So how we are doing this? I always say that if it's not digital, it's invisible. It's undigital, it's unseen, unheard. It's not digital, it doesn't exist. And this is true. Even if you are in the big city or you are in a very remote village, if your experience, if your tourism service is not digitized, it doesn't exist. So we're talking about digital traveler. This is one slide that I use from 2012. And I still using it. 2012, 13 years later, and we still talk about this. Digital travelers, the hyper high connected, and they want to get real-time information and valid information about destinations, but they are also giving us information. Through the social media, they are giving us information, very true, very real information that we can use. So now we have this, AI, Gemini, Google is helping us to travel better and to think even better than we can think about our next destination. And we have ChatGPT, the new travel agent. So tell me, I want to go to Paris, and this is me, it's Antonio. Offer me a good plan in Paris. You know me. And travel agent ChatGPT is going to tell me the best tips for me, for Antonio, to enjoy Paris. So, and we have Microsoft Azure. This is Cicerone. It was recognized as the best travel and tourism development using Microsoft Azure in 2024. It's a Spanish company. It was supported by Segitur, my previous company. And they are changing the way people travel and the way people enjoy the destination, because they create a GPT, a closed GPT with valid information provided by the destination. So they know that it's not one influencer saying what to do, but it's the destination management company, the one who's saying what you do and who's telling you where's the right information to do what they want to do. We are using data and AI in almost everything, all the different aspects, hosting, transport, travel, food and beverage, everything, all the different sectors are connected to AI now. And we are doing this. We are reducing the public cost because we can share digital tools. We can use data-driven to do a real good governance of the destinations. We can exchange data. But for that, we need to standardize it first. This is the main barriers. We need to standardize data. We need to deal with the privacy of the data, and we need to train people so you know how to manage this. So this is the most important thing, and Europe is now working on that, and we are helping them, and we are helping other regions of the world in standardize all these private data generated by applications and so on. So we're helping doing research. You have all this information available. It's very valuable. And we are doing our artificial intelligence agenda. So we are helping countries and we are helping destinations and private sector on how to do the right thing. Develop AI strategies, support collaborations, public and private, adopt universal standardized data, provide incentive for micro and SMEs. So we are doing a whole package of recommendations so countries and destinations can develop the right policy regarding AI. We are dealing with people, planet, and prosperity in 3 different ways. People, we need to invest in people. We need to invest in education. We are doing a lot through our tools. Above all, our online education, Tourism Online Academy. You can go there and you can find around 50 courses, and many of them already talking about digitization and about AI, or how to implement, how to use AI in your destinations or in your business. It's for free. So please go there and check. We are dealing with other providers, talking about what we are talking today: waste reduction, reduction of CO2 emissions, the accommodations, climate action plan. We are doing all this, and the green tech plus the AI is helping us a lot to control, to measure everything. It's the only way you can adopt the decisions based on data. And we are talking about smart destinations. We are supporting startups. We have been supporting startups for 7 years, doing challenges and competitions throughout the world, national, regional, global competitions. So we are identifying talent, and we are giving the world the right solutions to face the problems they are facing. Nowadays, we are running this for Morocco, Lithuania, one with France, Bahamas, or one that we are dealing in global is UN Tourism Social Innovation Challenge, to avoid this, to avoid the negative impact of tourism in the world. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Antonio Lopez. Up next, please welcome Mr. Bazam Bakar, the co-founder and CEO of Rehat Automation Malaysia.
Alrighty, so same message with Antonio just now. We're going to make it really quick because of the time. But we will try to put the output later in the discussion. So basically, what I'm going to talk here is about customer experience in technology for the mid-market operators. Of course, the original version is quite mouthy, so that's the simplified version. Why I'm here today, if we look into the message that I'm going to try to spill out today is U, which is operators, and technology equal to experience. What do I mean by that is when we actually transform from digital era into the automation era, which I'm going to give you a timeline later on, to intelligence era, that's where that difference is going to happen. And this is a little bit of my background. I was in AirAsia a little bit, and I went to Microsoft for a while on strategy planning. I built a budget hotel after I got back to Malaysia, and I joined Microsoft one more time after they acquired OpenAI, and then I tried to sell their AI products in Asia Pacific region. And I built my own software company after I've seen what happened inside Microsoft. Right, so we built the first digital operated hotel in suburban, which is very much aligned with my topic today. And thank you so much. With the software that we develop internally, that we spin off, now become a software, a SaaS, software as a service. And then we have some of our lovely customers here. Thank you for the support all this while. So let's look into the trend and shift that's happening. I'm going to talk a little bit on the Apply AI, what we are doing on the AI space and where we're going next. I think the interesting part about the industry is his hospitality in general is bottom 3 when it comes to adoption of technology. We are the least to adopt technology. But I think with what's happening in AI, what has AI enabled, this is going to change. So hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years, we are going to get to the center in terms of adoption. And that will actually unlock a lot of values in this particular segment, in this particular industry. So, what happened? Prior to 2010, we saw a heavyweight in the digitalization space. We saw Guesty, we saw Airbnb. For salon, we saw MangoMean. And for restaurant, we saw ToastApp. But next is the automation era. The automation era happened in 2010 and 2023, where we start seeing a lot of this self-check-in system came out, the robot thing that came out. And what's next? 2025 and beyond, that's going to be the intelligence era. Why do I say 2025, not 2024, 2023? Because ChatGPT just came up about 2023, but there is nothing really intelligent there yet until agentic era came in. Agentic era came in only in 2025, early 2025. This is where the real power of AI came into the picture in the business world. Because ChatGPT alone is just another conversation, and then you get a lot of details out of it. So, why does this matter today now? Because if you look into the common stories coming out of operators, especially mid-market, I'm not talking about four-star like Hilton, they have money. But those who are operating budget hotels, they don't have money. So basically, not to say don't have money, less profit, but the common story is high implementation costs and they are too expensive to adopt technology. Now, with the AI coming into the picture, it collapses the cost dramatically. And it's just, this is why I believe in the next 3 to 5 years, this sector, who were the bottom three in terms of tech adoption, will at least go to the middle part of the tech adoption. If you look here, right, in the past, is to deploy a technology solution, especially as advanced as machine learning, like AI, it takes about 15% of your profit margin to be able to redeploy into innovation. But now it's only 5%. From those days, the model was CAPEX, but now it is going into OPEX, which is much better for you as operators. Experience sharing, when I was running my own hotel last time, we went from 8% profit margin to 35% profit margin, just because we have a technology in-house. We were building it and based on our use case. And then from 6 to 5 star in reputation to 9 star in reputation. Why? It is enabled by technology, and I do really hope at least this is what the industry could experience in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, action to take for policymakers, we do really hope that accelerate the education to the market regarding adoption of technology. We cannot do it alone. The government has to do it top-down, from top to bottom. It has to be top-down. Right? You have to start accelerating the education in the market, not just as the private players. And then, if possible, then subsidize the familiarization phase. For example, the first 3 months of their adoption, they should be subsidized in a way. And that's happening in China. That's why they are extremely fast when it comes to AI adoption and technological adoption. We have to be able to mirror that. And for operators, don't be afraid, don't be too skeptical about AI or technology solution in general. Adopt small and expand gradually, because you will be missing a lot. I'm talking to a lot of my operators today. A lot of them still not even on Booking.com or Airbnb, which is quite sad to see. Now, we're talking a little bit on responsible customer experience. If you are looking today, there's a lot of things happening in the upmarket. Cebu Prince just a few months back bought, I can't remember this particular company, Ace Hotels. And then Marriott just bought Citizen M. The reason why, because these people on the left side, they don't know how to cater to the normal citizen. They cater to the business people. And then they realize that going forward in the market, you cannot really, you cannot not to have a soul in your hotel. So if you go to Hilton, do you have a soul? No, it's very corporate. If you go, I'm sorry, Hilton. If you go to Marriott, they are very corporate, right? So they start buying all these hotels that have a soul. So that's where the good thing, what we are seeing happening in the upmarket today will impact you if you are the mid operator, because you will lose the game if you're not changing now. If you don't adopt technology today to enable your transition, because now soul matter more than being corporate. So responsible customer experience, you go from sustainable, seamless booking, instant support, and local, authentic, and always on convenience. These are the stuff that probably I would say only one part that mid-tier operator are already there, which is in terms of seamless booking, because we have booking.com and whatnot, but the rest, none. So we have a lot of work to do as a technology player who are serving the mid-tier market to make sure that they are able to go through all of these, to checklist all of these things. Even a big hotel like Hilton, they still cannot do the local authentic experience. When I got into the hotel room, I don't receive any WhatsApp messages telling me like, hey, what I need to do here in the next 3 days. As simple as that, we don't have that, and we need to have that to be able to go through all of this responsible customer experience paradigm. Okay, so mid-market now can adopt technologies. Those days, the blocker is too expensive. But now it is now for you guys to be able to do something around this. We have gone from digital era to automation, now intelligence era, collapsing costs enabled by AI. So why now? For mid-tier operator, I'm not sure for the 4-star and above, but mid-tier operator, you are losing more control to OTA in the next 5 years. The reason being that they already tried to take the whole guest experience layer, guest experience journey. Now they are doing the BNPL for guests. They are taking over the financial layer of guest journey. So you will lose control, definitely 3 to 5 years ahead. So you got to be ready, you got to do something now with your operations and the way you go ahead. Time to have a fallback path for you. You own your own brand, start from today. Own your own guest data, start from today. And own your feedback data, start from today. And this is now cost-effective or low cost because it is enabled by AI. We have seen a lot of advancement in the different sector. Slang.ai in the restaurant AI agent, logistic AI in, this is a robot something in logistic AI. And what we are trying to do today is we are trying to become the player in the tourism AI agent. And because of that, we are moving to Japan next month. This is our last month in Malaysia. So we are relocating to Japan because of the support that we're getting from the government of Japan. So that's me, and that's my LinkedIn. Hopefully, somehow it is beneficial to you. Look forward.
Thank you, Mr. Bazlan Bakar. Up next, please welcome Mr. Andy Othman, Country General Manager, Plug and Play Malaysia.
Good evening. My name is Andy. I'm the country GM for Plug and Play Malaysia. Part of my job is curating and running accelerators for governments and corporates, mentoring startups and innovators, fine-tuning their pitch deck, guiding them to achieve product market fit. So in this session, I'll be sharing how Malaysian accelerator programs can create opportunities for scaling the future of tourism startups. A little bit about Plug and Play. We are one of the world-leading innovation platform founded in Silicon Valley, now operating in more than 60 cities around the globe. Our role is simple but powerful. We connect startups, corporations, investors, and governments, and we ran industry-focused accelerator program as part of our service. Globally, we manage over 20+ verticals, ranging from fintech to mobility, travel, and hospitality. And today, I'll walk you through a little bit on how this global experience connect to the opportunities we see here, as well as Malaysian and ASEAN. The Malaysia accelerator landscape, in a nutshell, journey began a decade ago with the launch of Magic in 2014, which pioneered structured programs to support entrepreneurs. Since then, the ecosystem has grown rapidly, with over 40 accelerator and incubation programs now active across the country. Government agencies like Cradle, Meranti are driving sector-specific programs in multiple verticals, and the new Kementerian Digital is creating stronger alignment between innovation, policy, and funding. And with the help of states like Selangor, Penang, and Sarawak, have also introduced their own startup programs, adding value to the regional depth in the national accelerator scene. Private players are also playing an equal and critical role. Corporates like YTL through its AI lab, Petronas through its future tech, embedding startup in collaboration into their strategies. At Plug and Play Malaysia, we've brought our global accelerator expertise to support corporates and startups alike, bringing local innovation with international networks. Malaysia's accelerator landscape also has grown tremendously over the past decade. This program have collectively supported more than 1,000 startups with over 250 million in funding facilitated. Government-linked agencies at the heart of this growth. Cradle now runs initiatives like the My Startup Accelerator. Meranti's Global Accelerator program has also evolved into sector-specific tracks, and MDAC continues to support digital-first ventures through programs like Founders Centers of Excellence. And now we are seeing results. Trailblazing startups like Carsem and Aerodyne have benefited from accelerator pathways, showing that Malaysia is capable of producing regional champions. ASEAN is the world's fastest growing travel and tourism region. In 2024, the region welcomed more than 150 million international arrivals, contributing over 400 billion in direct tourism GDP. At the global level as well, digitalization is reshaping how people travel. Online bookings are already account for more than 60% of travel sales worldwide. Smart hotels are leveraging IoT and AI to enhance guest experience. But here's the gap. While ASEAN is strong in tourism demand, there are still very few accelerator programs designed specifically for tourism startups. This is the missing piece. Dedicated accelerators could connect tourism startups with airlines, hotel group, OTAs, and governments. At Plug and Play, we propose leveraging our global sourcing channels and established ecosystem to create two key pathways. An inbound accelerator, also known as a Malaysia landing pad, and an outbound accelerator for local startups to scale internationally. We've built over 15 years of connection and deal flow channels that help us identify the best technology companies across all stages and geographies. From there, the most promising startups, based on their many criteria, make it into our global playbook, which to date now includes 100,000 plus qualified startups from pre-seed to Series D. It's important to acknowledge the current challenges facing tourism innovation in Malaysia and across ASEAN. First, the ecosystem is still somewhat fragmented, with government programs and the private initiatives often running in parallel instead of being fully aligned. Second, there are still funding gaps. Third, a lot of SMEs in tourism are still hesitant to adopt digital solutions, but these challenges also open up exciting opportunities. We are entering an era of smart tourism where AI and data can deliver high personalized experiences. So this is why Plug and Play, together with the Malaysia Accelerator Program, wants to create a platform for digital tourism innovation. We invite corporates, government agencies, and tourism players to co-create this future together. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Andy. Now we're going to proceed with our final panel discussion 3. I would like to invite Dr. Ian Yeoman once again and all of our panelists up on the stage. Please welcome. All right. Meantime, while we wait for the chair and table ready, for information, this camaraderie will end with a high tea session that will graciously brought to you by Traveloka. And for your information, this camaraderie or the high tea session that is graciously hosted by Traveloka will be represented by Mr. Muhammad Sharif Hidayatullah, the Manager Public Policy and Government Relations of Traveloka, and Mr. Muhammad Rinaldi, Senior Associate Manager Public Policy and Government Relations, Traveloka. We'll have the high tea later. Just one final panel discussion. Over to you, Mr. Ian.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We've got about 15 minutes, and it's very difficult to cram the future into 15 minutes, given the importance of artificial intelligence. But we'll ask some thought-provoking questions, I think. I've got this thing I'm trying to make panelists sweat, but I'm only kidding. Sorry. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for a very insightful presentation of where technology and AI is taking us. I think you've captured many of the key issues of the changes that are occurring today, rather than the changes occurring in 2050. But right at the heart of tourism and hospitality is people. So, Andy, do you think AI can ever replicate the human touch with empathy and service?
AI can simulate empathy through tone, sentiment analysis, and personalization, but it can never replace human. Human rooted with life experience and emotions is still in the heart of customer experience. So AI can definitely automate, simplify, and make operations of tourism activities more efficient. But I feel that human beings, human touch still is needed to be able to offer, to be able to create delightful experience for the customers.
So, Antonio and Baslin, do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I can say that, I mean, I can have one wonderful day and I can be in a very good mood, and I can, even if I'm in front of a customer, I can, depending on my humor that day, I can be nicer or I can not be that nice. An AI system will be always nice, and we will be prepared to notice if the person is starting to get nervous and if they are talking louder, and they can be prepared to calm down people. And it's always going to be the same. So, I mean, human touch is necessary when you are in person, but online or by phone or chatbot, I think AI profile is going to be much better than the person. Saying this, I agree. I mean, this is a human sector. We are dealing with people. So when you arrive, you always want to have someone on the other side. But now I've been talking with Microsoft, and they are creating profiles, AI profiles with a specific, let's say, profiles, a specific way of behavior. So if you want to give an answer from a very nice young lady, talking always in the same way, very polite, and with the tools, skills to calm down people when they are nervous, I'm sure they will succeed. But of course, human touch is always there.
What about yourself, Basil?
Well, agree on the part where you cannot replace human emotion, of course. But that will be the expectation going ahead, which means that AI will be default. But this is opportunity for operators out there or players out there, because there will be another line item, revenue line item for you, which means that if you want a human to be able to take care of you, there's another $20 you have to pay. So it will happen. AI will still going to be a default, but there is an opportunity for you to have a good line of new revenue.
Okay. Just keeping with yourself, you talked about a number of eras in artificial intelligence, and particularly from your company, you talked about this moving from automation to intelligence. What did you mean by that?
For example, during the automation era, it's all about how do you not have, how to say, when you do self-check-in, you don't have to deal with human, but you don't have AI in the loop yet at that point, right? And if you're an operator, automation means that when when guests booked in your apartment, the system, the app will auto send a WhatsApp to your message. That's automation. But when intelligence layer came into the picture, that's where the AI came play their part. Where now, if you have a booking, you don't have to do the booking. AI will do the booking for you. And we're already building that agentic layer, which means that when we have a signal coming from Booking.com, everything will be done by the AI within the system itself.
no human in the loop. Only needed you as an operator when emergency happened, maybe 1 or 2% of the time. And that's where I think the beauty of AI come into the picture, but only when you have agentic capability in the picture.
Basil, you mentioned in your presentation that you were moving to Japan. So my question is actually to Andy. What do we need? What does Malaysia need to do so companies don't move to Japan? the technology and the ideas and the IP stay here to drive the growth of AI and hospitality and tourism in this country?
Well, as an innovation operator that has a global presence, same situation. We literally just started in Malaysia 2 years ago. So Malaysia is at the crust, at the bottom of the hockey stick. So a lot of things has to be done to ignite the ecosystem, from the funding, from the VC landscape, from the government policy, from the tourism ecosystem itself. So slowly but surely, and events like this will help to ignite. And hopefully in the next coming years, we'll be here again, but the conversation will be a little bit different when the ecosystem in tourism startups is actually a little bit more matured, and we don't have the buzzlands of Malaysian going somewhere else, but now they are talking about, hey, this is the country and this is the market to be in.
Yeah, if I may, we always, when we do the challenges and competitions, one of the things we are, for our criteria, is scalability. We are looking for technology that can be scalable globally. If they have a global impact, it's because it's a good solution, not only for one country, but for the whole world. And we are always looking for that. And I think most of the technology that we are developing now, it's very scalable and we can use it whatever.
Okay, so Antonio, you know, technology and AI is moving so fast and rapid, it's difficult at times to keep up. So if you actually came back to the World Tourism Conference in 2030 or in 2040, what would you say that would be different or new?
Wow. Well, I told you before, in 2012 I was crazy, I was mad, and now we see we are always following this path. And in 2030, 2040, I would love to have, not to talk about the standardization, because everything would be already standardized. I don't have to convince countries or destinations to start using AI. And this is our point nowadays. We're giving recommendations to countries on how to use, how to implement AI and survive to that point. And I would love to talk about the next steps. So these kind of things, how we can create a GPT, closed GPTs with the right information, how we can create these profiles to give the right information to every single person as a person. That today it's impossible. So in the future, I think with technology, if we use technology in the right way, we can achieve this kind of developments. So people will have a better experience when traveling, and we will be able to manage this technology to control and to measure everything on the territory, on the destination level. So we will be more efficient, more effective, and we will be able to control the sustainability or the sustainable impact of tourism.
What about yourself? If you came back here in, say, 5 years' time, 30, what would you be saying differently? What would you be telling the audience, or what do you notice?
I don't know, probably that time the adoption of technology already there for the tourism sector. So we'll be less talking about, let's get on the train, let's get on the train now, but probably more about how do you optimize your operations. Now it's more like getting on the train, but later on it will be how to optimize your operation with AI, because probably 5 years after this, you're already using it in your operations. And after this, we're gonna talk about how do you optimize your headcount or your manpower. So we cannot really say that now because we don't know, is it going to be reduction in manpower or going to be optimization? But we'll see how it goes in the next 5 years. I myself don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years, because what happened in the next 8 months in the AI space already like unbelievable. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's it, 5 years is eternity.
Yeah, eternity.
just like fintech 10 years ago, and now if you go to any conference, there will be gazillion booths out there of startups catering to the fintech industry. So hopefully 10 years from now, when you come to this conference, there will be gazillion startup booths catering for the tourism because it's so vibrant, because it's so ingrained, and AI is part of the offering and expectation of every tourism customer.
Amen to that. No, I'm just saying that I really support it. I really hope to see like half of this room to be tech players, so we can support the ecosystem.
So, just one final question to close. This morning or yesterday, there was a big cyber attack on Disney, and all of their revenue management rules, their reservation system. So, do you have any comments or advice about cybersecurity, about the management of data that's important to you, or any messages to companies?
Well, if you want, we are working on that. It's basic. When we advise all the countries and destinations, and now we are working with the European Union on this, cybersecurity is key. I mean, you cannot talk about data if you don't talk about privacy and cybersecurity. Otherwise, you are dead. Any single mistake you can make now is going to delay any new developments in the future. So we need to save this. People has to feel safe when they deal with the applications and with the AI. I don't know if you agree with this.
Very agree. I mean, as the industry grows and more data is shared, more digital application is launched, security will be at the forefront. And organizations like the Disneys of the world will become very vulnerable. So again, this takes also the startup community to recognize that this is a friction, this is a pain point, as well as this is an opportunity for them to innovate, and they can innovate faster than the larger organizations. So hopefully by then, this area of innovation will also mature so that we can cater to this kind of scenarios and situations.
Because of time pressure, we've only been given 15 minutes, but I'd like to personally thank you for very insightful contribution towards the debate. I know the future is very uncertain, but I think you've clarified many thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you to Mr. Ian Yoman and the panelists for the panel discussion 3. Up next, I would like to invite Professor Amran once again up on the stage. Please welcome.
Thank you. Thanks to the wonderful panelists. We don't have much time. I'll do 2 questions and then I'll do the wrap up in 1 minute. First question, please. Will a robot chef win a Michelin star? From Professor Ian Yeoman's question. Tough fight. Yeah. I'll give 5 more seconds and see who will going to be the winner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you agree, Ian? No? Yeah? One day they will win. As in Sunderland winning the Premier League. A second question, please. Will a humanoid robot become the next hotel general manager? Everybody is confident that this is going to happen? Oh. What happened? Anyway. Yeah? No. Again, Ian. 50-50. Thank you very much for the Mentimeter. So I'll do a quick wrap up. I don't have time left. The proper wrap up will be posted to you after this, together with the PowerPoint presentation. So 3 points just to summarize. And I would like to borrow the first point from Sergio when he said in the morning that strategy counts. I think that's very, very clear. You need a long-term strategy, you need policies. Policy support is very important to drive transformation. Number two is that transformation is a gradual process. You can't do it overnight. We have heard, we listen to how communities, individuals, companies, they took a long time, but they do it step by step with a very clear focus. The third one, I think, is having the right tools. And we just heard about how AI, maybe the most powerful tool that we will be coming up with. Seen all the wonderful examples. That we need all those tools, but you also need wisdom to be able to use it in the right way. And sometimes we talk about tools, we should not confine it to mechanical tools, technological tools, but also analytical tools. And I think we have not discussed at all the tool, and I think there are two. One is the theory of change. And I think we need to use theory of change if we want to look at where we want to go in terms of transformation. And it's a very powerful tool, and it's being used a lot by the World Bank projects, whether you like it or not. And then scenario planning, because when Ian talked about the future, there are a lot of uncertainties despite the use of AI. And when you have uncertainties, you have to use scenario planning. And I think we are not used to this kind of tool, but it's very effective. So again, maybe in the next the World Tourism Congress, we might be able to talk about these tools beyond technological tools. And finally, I think we have to also consider providing the support for transformation. And then Dirk, during his discussion with the panelists, said that, what can we do? Not only UN Tourism, but other entities, to provide the support, incentives to facilitate change, to support change. And I think support can also be in the form of either policy, financial, technical support. And when we have identified talents, and when we have nurtured talents, we should retain them. And then people like Bazlan, wonderful talent, I think. Unfortunately, without the support, I have to be very frank, lose him. But we have to think about how we can support to include retaining talents so that they can perform all those expected roles to aid, to assist the transformation of the tourism sector. So that's it for my brief wrap-up. You will get a longer version. And I'd just like to thank everyone, first of all, the keynote speakers and a wonderful list of panelists. And I think they have come all the way, very super busy people. And some of them did not come with a PowerPoint, but they saw that the energy within this, and they provided PowerPoint. Maybe they did not sleep at all last night. And thanks to all of you, speakers, even though you might have sent your comments online, but I'd like to thank the organizers and the technical team for all their fantastic support. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Professor Amran Hamzah, Professor in Tourism Planning, University Technology Malaysia, for wrapping up the session of our conference. All right, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the close of today's ceremony, but now allow it to be my honor to greet our distinguished guests, our guests of honor. Welcome again, the Honorable Datuk Khairul Firdaus Akbar Khan, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture Malaysia. The Honorable Liu Shijun, Executive Director, World Tourism Organization. The Honorable Datuk Shaharuddin Abu Sohot, Secretary General, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia. Excellencies, Ambassadors, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, distinguished senior officials, distinguished guests, member of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani again. All right, so to proceed with our closing ceremony today, I would like to invite the Honorable Datuk Khairul Firdaus bin Akbar Khan, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, for a closing remark. Please welcome.
Thank you, Master Ceremony. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Lee Si-jun, Executive Director, World Tourism Organization, thank you for being here today until the end of the conference. The Honorable Datuk Shaharuddin Abdul Sohot, Secretary General, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Honorable Ministers, and Deputy Ministers, distinguished senior officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. It is a profound honor for me to stand before you as we conclude World Tourism Day 2025 and the 7th World Tourism Conference here in Melaka, Malaysia. Over the past 2 days, we have exchanged more than ideas. We have shared a collective vision of tourism as a driver of sustainable transformation for economies, communities, and the environment. This gathering has been a laboratory of ideas and a forum for action. Allow me to reflect on the key themes that emerge from the keynotes and panel sessions that shape our conversations. People at the heart of tourism. From the very outset, it has been reaffirmed that people are at the foundation of tourism's future. We heard compelling evidence that education, innovation, and targeted investment, including in youth and women, and are essential to create a resilient, equitable, and future-ready tourism ecosystem. When human capital is strengthened, innovation and entrepreneurship flourish, and communities are empowered to shape their own destinies. Inclusive growth and regenerative practices. The sessions on inclusive tourism underscored that many economic growth must go hand in hand with social equity and environmental care. Strategies such as regenerative tourism, culture and heritage, revitalization, and responsible technology demonstrate how growth can uplift local communities, protect cultural assets, and conserve biodiversity. These approaches show that long-term prosperity is achieved by not just volume, but preserving culture and heritage, creating value, and achieving balance. From policy to practice, we also examine how sound policies can translate sustainability from aspiration to everyday practice. Examples from around the world demonstrated that cross-sector collaboration, incentives for the private sector, and community-based driven initiatives, including in conservation, can move the needle from isolated projects to systemic economy-wide impact. Civil society leadership, such as the Penang Heritage Trust Heritage Stewardship Model, illustrates how community advocacy can safeguard living culture while supporting vibrant visitor economies. Looking to the future, the dialogue on artificial intelligence and emerging technologies reminded us that digital transformation is reshaping tourism's entire supply and value chains. AI-driven visitor management, predictive analytics, and smart destination tools can improve competitiveness and productivity, enhance visitor experience, and protect fragile sites. But we have to remember that travel technologies must come with ethical governance to ensure data protection. Workforce reskilling, as well as inclusivity and fairness, must also be emphasized to create new highly valued and high-paying jobs. From these rich deliberations, several commitments emerge for all of us to carry forward and translate into concrete action. Mainstream sustainability financing, so every tourist dollar supports measurable social and environmental outcomes. Empower local communities with data and ownership, ensuring that benefits flow first to those who host. Institutionalize resilience, making climate risk assessments and crisis preparedness standard in every destination. Apply digital tools for stewardship, not just promotion, to protect culture and heritage, as well as widen opportunities for small enterprises. Champion culture and heritage as growth sectors, supporting creative industries and community-led initiatives that strengthen local livelihoods. These actions is well aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, reminding us of that tourism's transformative role transcends beyond environmental stewardship to include embracing social justice, inclusivity, climate resilience, and digitalization. Dear friends, the success of World Tourism Day and the 7th World Tourism Conference reflect truly the tireless efforts and dedication of many. On behalf of the Government of Malaysia and the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to UN Tourism, our co-organizers, global partners and sponsors, and to every delegate whose insights and expertise have enriched these proceedings. To the State Government of Melaka and our local partners from federal and state agencies, to the private sector, academia, and civil society, thank you so much for demonstrating the best of Malaysian hospitality, creativity, and most importantly, our commitment. And to the local communities, students, and youth who participated, you remind us that sustainable tourism is about empowerment and shared futures. In closing, it is my honor to extend warm congratulations to El Salvador as the next host country of World Tourism Day 2026. Carrying this annual global celebration to the Americas, we wish our colleagues every success and look forward to reconvening next year in your beautiful country. On behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia, thank you once again for being part of this wonderful journey, and I wish you safe travels home. Terima kasih. Until we meet again, selamat jalan.
Yes, you may return to your seat. Thank you, His Excellency Dato' Khairul Firdaus bin Akbar Khan, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture of Malaysia. All right, up next, please welcome up on the stage for another closing remark, Mr. Shi Jun Liu, Executive Director of UN Tourism.
Thank you for your patience and still many participants sitting here to warming up the house. I promise I try to make my closing remark as short as possible. His Excellency Datu Kala Faidos bin Akbar Khan, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Malaysia, Excellencies, Ambassadors, my dear colleagues, industry friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As we bring our time to a close, and time flies, we know, and we want to express our gratitude on behalf of UN Tourism to express to our host for their generosity and warm hospitality. You've welcomed us not just into your country, but into your culture. You've allowed us to discover and explore the beauty and diversity that make Malaysia such a remarkable destination. I'm sure next year, the Visit Malaysia year, some of us for sure will come back, might be on business or for my family visit. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and many more, and many more. Our discussions here have shown the strength of our collective vision for the future of tourism. That spirit is what makes tourism so powerful. That's why we are gathering here today. It brings the people together and create opportunities that extend far beyond our sector. It's really the most effective agent of transformation, as we made clear today. As I look around, I'm filled with optimism. Tourism industry will definitely growing, developing, that we enjoy our smile and happy. Tourism is more than just numbers. It's about people, about solidarity and building a future that is more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Let's leave here motivated to carry forward this spirit of collaboration, determined to ensure that tourism continues to deliver for our economies, our communities, and above all, for everyone, anywhere in this world. And once again, thank you very much to our host, and thank you all for your commitment and friendship. Have a safe journey back, and I do hope that we see you somewhere around the world, and we at the World Tourism Organization, whenever you need our assistance, and my colleagues here are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shi Junlu, the Executive Director of UN Tourism. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to end on a memorable note, let us enjoy the official theme song of Visit Malaysia 2026, entitled Surreal Experiences, composed by the talented Anwar Raza. Surreal Experiences combines modern melodies with nostalgic inspiration, incorporating the tune of the classic folk song Kene Kene Udang, sung in both Malay and English. It connects with audiences locally and internationally alike. Now all of our performances are ready. If our audiences are ready too, are you ready? Yeah, to closing up, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Surreal Experiences.
Truly Asia, it's a land with rich heritage for you to explore. Sandy beaches, friendly faces, surreal experiences.
imagination, every moment you feel. Taste the food, try the highlands, such a thrill. The heartbeat of Asia, where dreams are fulfilled.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Surreal experiences by the National Department for Culture and Arts, Melaka. And the flowers that you see right now, red and white, is the flower Kasida and Bunga Raya. It's the Bunga Raya is the national flowers of Malaysia. Bunga Kasida is a national flower for the state of Melaka. And once again, a big round of applause to everyone here. And to end this evening's camaraderie, I would like to invite our distinguished guests and the rest, ladies and gentlemen, here to enjoy a high tea that are graciously hosted by Traveloka. Please welcome everyone outside. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope you enjoyed this evening and you find Melaka to your likings. My name is Shuhaida Arifin. Till we meet again. Thank you.
Yes.